everyone, this is Ali Reza, and before this episode, at the end of last episode, I mentioned that in our build Gradle we were depending on where was it? Dependencies. Show yourself. No, did I close it? Come on, come on. Here, we were depending on Voila development 1, okay? And yeah, you may not notice it if you followed my tutorial. You would notice that you would get duplication on Code Chicken Core and NEI, and basically you would have lots of problems. Now, I went into chat rooms. I started speaking in Forge Gradle chat room, and Professor Mobius was online himself. He told that he will work on it, and here we go. Now if I work on development 3, and of course I cleaned, I decomped, and I remade my workspace. Okay. Now if I run the game, or run the environment I should say, it will come up without any problems now. Just to show you that it's working now. There we go. Okay. And I forgot to show you the changes we had done to mcmod info and how did it affect our mod. So jpiston, hooray, jpiston version, mod version, interesting. Jpiston mod status available, credits Jiraiya, author Jiraiya, you are blah 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 blah. Okay. So this part is still not working. Not sure why. We will take a look at that later. But today I will start working on few stuff. And first of all, I need my factory, and here. First thing, I want to revert this guy. Okay? I don't like it because that's pretty much a standard for everyone mod out there now. If you are sneaking, you want to rotate the block. If you are not sneaking, you want to open the GUI. Sorry. So let's start by opening the GUI, shall we? Now, opening the GUI is fairly simple. Sorry, guys. You'll say player dot open GUI. Okay. Now, what should we do here? We say jpiston dot instance. Remember, jpiston dot instance is what we got here. Okay. So jpiston dot instance, comma, and we need to define some things. For example, in reference, I will come and make a class, call it GUI ID, and in GUI ID I will add a public static final string, and that would be our factory based, wait, I don't like this color, I need to change it, base ID. And what should we put there? Well, basically this is your factory base, this is your GUIs, so you can just start from 0 based, and each GUI will have a new, sorry, not a string, this is int, a new ID. Okay, caps lock off, int. Okay, So each factory ID will go from 0 and higher and higher and higher. Now, here we need to define our ID. So it will be GUI ID dot factory based ID. And well, this is happening inside the world and in X, Y, and Z coordinates. And this is how you make your ID. This is how you open the GUI, okay? So each time you want to open a new GUI, you just change this ID here. This is how you open the GUI, okay? Now, after we've done that, we need to make some GUIs, of course. And how do we do that? It's fairly simple, I should say. Yeah. Okay. So we make another package here, calling it client. Because remember, GUIs happen on only client side. That's very important thing to remember. Everything you do inside the GUI is in client side, so you know you need to tell the server, hey, this is my stuff that I'm doing inside the GUI. Update yourself, so that the server will relay it to the other clients to refresh themselves. Okay, so here I say factory GUI. Don't misread it with GUI factory. GUI factory is something that Forge gives you to have inside game options. We will take a look at that later, but this is factory GUI, okay? Now, in factory GUI, the very first things we need to do, of course, we need to say that, hey, it's a GUI, so extends GUI container, and now implement methods, okay? And that's draw container background layer. Now, draw container background layer needs a partial tick time. It gives you the mouse X, and of course mouse Y. And this is how you know where on the GUI you are clicking, okay? Now, it needs one more thing, and that's the constructor. The constructor will accept, what the hell? Container. Am I missing something here? Maybe. Let me see. One thing. Let's first remove this guy. We need to tell Minecraft that, hey, it's side only and it's side client. Okay? Now create constructor with super container. My constructor here is a bit different in my nodes because I don't have a container. I have inventory player, and that's inventory player. And yeah, I don't like that name. Inventory player, thank you. And then TE factory as tile entity that we call it factory. Okay? And now we need to address the container. We say new, what I'm doing, new factory. Oh, wait, I have a phone call. Sorry for the phone call. Well, here I need something that I don't have yet. And of course, we need to create it if we don't have it. And that's a container. Now, let me speak about what are the containers, what are tile entities, and how we should connect them to each other. Well, Tile entity, as I said, is the instance of your blocks in the game. Just like item stacks that are instances of your items in the game. Container, on the other hand, the easiest way to understand them is that a container is some sort of inventory. Whenever you have inventory on the blocks, on the items, for example, a bag or a chest or a GUI that has some slots in it, those need a container to address the slots itself, okay? For example, a chest that has 36 slots need a container, and in that container you will tell, hey, you have 36 slots on these addresses, on the XY coordinate of your interface. So whenever you are dealing with something that the GUI needs some slots, of course you need a container. Now, for a container, I will add a new package and call it inventory. Okay? Inside inventory, I will add a Java class called factory container. Okay? If you want to make the factory container a container, any kind of container, being it, let's say that this is not a block, this is an item, okay, like a bag. But if it's a block or it's an item, it doesn't matter. You extend container from net Minecraft inventory. And of course, doing that implements methods, and that's only one method that says can interact with the player, and it returns false. We of course want to return true, but in a different way again. So we don't want this to be like that, okay? We want inventory player as inventory player, and we want a TE factory, and we call it factory again, okay? And of course, this is not an override way of constructing, okay? And why the hell are you yellow? Oh, wait. I'm wrong. Totally wrong here. We need a constructor here. That was the problem. Okay, the constructor will be public factory container. I like IntelliJ because I can type, F and C with capital letters and find this guy. And we want inventory player like that. And that's hard. Of course, inventory. What the hell? Oh yeah, but with capital I. Inventory player. We call it inventory player. And we want TE factory. We call it factory. And now we want to have some way of addressing our factory here. So we say private TE factory, what I'm doing, factory. And we say, well, let's deal with them later. For time being, we say this.factory equals the factory we gave to the method. Okay? That's the constructor for time being. Now, for this one method can interact with, if I return false, no player can interact with this container. We return factory does is usable by player, and we send in the player. So here we are telling that, hey, interaction with the uh, container is the job of the tile entity itself, okay? We don't want to deal with that in here, and that's the job that we need to work in tile entity. And if you go down, is usable by player, we are checking if the distance is less than 64, then we return true, okay? Now that we have a container, we can go back into the GUI, and we say, first of all, a new factory container. And of course, we need to send in the inventory player and the factory as tile entity. And now, basically, we have a GUI, but that GUI doesn't draw anything. How should we draw something? Well, first of all, we need something to be drawn, okay? So uh, in my D projects repository, Minecraft, mine, jpiston mod, source, main, resources, assets, jpiston, textures, okay? Here, if you recall, we had a GUI. It's empty right now. I will copy paste a file here. And let's look at it with Photoshop. Okay, this is the base of the GUI. How did I make one? You open any one of the mods that have a GUI. That's not important, okay? Any mod that have a GUI, or if you have the textures, if I can speak, unzipped on your folder from vanilla Minecraft. That's one thing. Then you open a new document that is 2056 by 2056. Sorry, 256 by 256. Control 0. You make a new layer. You delete the old layer so it's transparent, or you can set that to transparent. Then in any GUI, whoa, it's a new way, okay. Then in any GUI that you had, you zoom in, you select a corner, Control C, Control V, you move it to the side, it will snap by itself. Then you select this top row that has white, Control V, you move it to there. Then, of course, you need a vertical, so Control V, you move it again to the corner. You come down because remember the colors are a bit different on the corners. So you select something like that, Control C, Control V. You put it somewhere. Then you select the bottom row, Control C, Control V. You move it exactly to be there. And basically now you need to find the other corner. And Control C, Control V. You move it somewhere in the line. And this is new guidance. I love it. And you select the top row, of course. And select it. So Control V, V. You go into alignment with the down. And you select last vertical one, Control C, Control V, and from now on, the only thing you need is to duplicate the layer, move it down to make the borders, just like that. Control Z, Control J to duplicate, Control J, we move it down, Control J, move it down, Control J, move it down. And of course you can merge visible. Now you can select a bigger line like that, Control C, Control V, V, one back, and you move it the whole way down, Control J, and there we go. We have a border there. Okay. Now I select this guy, Control C, Control C, Control V, V, and we have a border. Of course, my textures are not aligned. Now what? Well, hiding everything. The easiest way, Control X, Control V. What did I do? Control X, Control V. Okay. Now I highlight everything again and bring that one piece in proper position. And I just need to move one down. Okay. The other side. And the top row. And now we can merge the visible again. And we have the border. Now, of course, here I have a large empty space. You may not have it. You just select one portion and just copy paste it. Control C. Copy paste it there multiple times, but meh, I have it, so why not use it? Control J. Control J. Control J, moving it down. J. Control J. Wow, what was that? Control Shift J? Control, yeah. Huh. No, it's, what is that? Huh, interesting, I like it. Control J. That was a nice feature there. It gives you the pixel difference. That's a new features I'm seeing. Okay, so now we have a back merge visible. Here we need our inventory. You can get this one from any place. That's the standard player inventory. Okay, Control C, Control V, and there we go. Okay, so we have an empty GUI now, but of course if you look, mine is a bit higher in height. Meh. And you can save it as your GUI, and then of course what I did is zoomed in one of these guys and selected from this corner to the next dark ones. Okay, Control C, Control V, and I have an empty slot. I moved it to the side like that, and I got this big one from the crafting table. The arrows are simple. You just need the tip and some part of the arrows and just duplicate and move it so you can get bigger arrows. These guys are just pixels defined by me. Just, you know, for example, I selected this top row and used the black color filled in, blah, blah, blah. Now, these guys, what are these guys? If you take a look, for example here, these are a bit offsetted. What are these? These are for tabs. How did I make them? Well, merge visible. I select one side, okay, like that. Control C, Control V. Then I will move it so that I think it is integrating. Okay? Now I zoom inside here. And of course I need the top border, so M. I will copy this guy from here, Control C, Control V, and I will move it down to here, for example. 1 pixel, 1 more pixel, okay? And then I get this portion, Control C, Control V, V, and I will move it to the side so that they penetrate the downside, the line. And I select the bigger portion this time. Control C, Control V, and I move it up. V, go up, please. There we go. Yeah. Okay. It's not penetrating, so I will select this portion a bit bigger. Control C, Control V, and I will move it so that they penetrate. From now on, I will hide the back line, so I have just the tab. From now on, I'm working on this guy, so I will merge it to each other, merge visible, and I will duplicate it 2 more times, okay? And move it down. And for time being, okay, moving 1 more down. I need to replace this guy. So remember, it was from the black spot to the white spot. That's easy. Control X, ouch. Control X, Control V, and I have it outside of the scope. I can move it like here-ish. But you notice I dropped too much. So zoom, not black one, but gray one. Control X, Control V, now we go. And move it to the side, for example, this way, okay? And hiding the tabs, I will merge these visible ones. So that's again one piece. And I have this guy and move it up again to its place. Zoom. What's going wrong here? Because they were penetrating. And now they are not penetrating. Oh yeah, they are penetrating, but they are on top of each other. Ha, my bad. Okay, no, you stay there. You come back, you come back. Okay, so I will start with the top one. Let's say this top one is the active one. What would I do? I will delete the, no, what is the, yeah, that one. Delete this part, okay? And I will, of course, want to delete this portion. No, because we see that that line, that gray line. We don't want to see that gray line there. So Control Z. 1, maybe. Delete. And if I zoom back, it looks like if I hide them, yeah, it looks like we are active, but the problem is here, okay? I don't want this black line here, so done. And if I go back, now we have a active tab. So the next one, not this one, the next one is the hovered mode. So it's fairly easy. We want it to be cut on the edge. Okay, so not there, there. And that's it. Yep. But as I said, we want it to be hovered, so we want to add some sort of effects. I select this guy and then deselect this one pixel. Going into filter, noise, add noise, but we want it monochrome. Okay, we will zoom all the way back. And now filter, blur, blur. And I will add it so much that I see a very smooth thing there. But you may already noticed it became transparent. We don't want that. How we should solve it? Well, we select a portion of the background. We move it to the proper place like that. Then we zoom here and we duplicate it and we move it around. Okay? Like that. And we duplicate these layers, yeah, and we move it down. So now basically we have a solid but over graphics there. If we want, we can stop there. Now the last one, you will ignore that part for time being. The last one is the normal inactive tab. So it's again simple. Select this, go to the layer and delete. Control D, Control 0, and we activate it now. So you see it's a normal inactive tab, your hover mode and your active. Now, okay, it was this guy, no, this guy. And you out, you active, you active, you active, you, not you, but you, yeah. So we merged these visibles so that it became a solid tab there. Now we select our tabs and we move them. How much we move them? Well, till we don't have any penetrations. So there, okay? And basically that's it. That's what I had done for tabs. You see that I have two different tabs and none of them are penetrating. I had made both of them the same way that I had made it here. So that was a quick guide on how you can make your GUIs. And let me show it by, I like these guys to be not large, extra large, thank you. So that I know what is going on. Every time you add something to your assets, in IntelliJ you need to come here and hit this guy, or in Eclipse you need to select the top folder, for example JPiston mod, and hit F5 so that your assets get updated here, okay? Synced. So now we have a texture and we want to draw it. How we should draw that? Well, we need to work with OpenGL. There is no way around it. But I don't like typing GL11 dot, GL11 dot. I really hate that. So I will do this in imports. I will import but a static instance of org dot org dot lwjgl dot opengl dot gl11 and then dot and star. This will let me do something like this. GL color 4F, there we go, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is meaning that it's a solid white color. GL color sets your filtering color. I will show you the result. But before that, Minecraft dot get Minecraft dot get texture manager that bind texture. We want to bind the texture. What is the texture? Well, we have a reference that we can use called textures. And in reference textures, we have this. Again, public, static, final, string, Come on, work for me, will you? String factory based GUI, or I should say base GUI, equals to, and that's it, is textures slash GUI slash factory base dot png. Okay. Now in factory GUI, you say you want to bind the texture, and that texture is factory. Oh, we need to define it. Okay. So on top, we need to add something. We say public final, because static, because we want to define it once. Final resource location. Okay, resource location. What is resource location? And let's call it factory base GUI. Resource location. Okay, everything that you have under assets is a resource. Being it, assets, everything under assets is a resource. Being it a language, a model, a sound, a texture, blah, 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 blah. Okay? But how we should address it under assets? Well, let me pause the video and I'll come back and explain. So how do we address the issue of our mod folder? Well, resource location handles that for you. For that, you will have something like this. We say reference, remember, .mod ID, we had that dot to lowercase. Because if you recall, my assets folder is all lowercase. That is that part. Then we want our textures, blah, 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 and we already recorded it here. Okay? So we say lowercase, comma. This is the texture itself. So textures dot factory base GUI. And I'm missing something. Oh, why am I doing it here? Ha, my derpness. Sorry. Resource location factory based GUI equals to new resource location. It should happen here. So that is a reference dot mod ID dot lowercase comma textures dot factory base GUI. So with this line, we say, hey, this guy is a new resource in this folder, and this is the location of the resource. Now in here, we simply bind that resource to a texture. It's up to us to know that the resource we are assigning to this variable is a texture, is a sound, or anything, is a model. It's up to us. So remember, if you, for example, assign a model here, then you want to bind the texture, it may not work. So this is factor-based GUI. So here we binded a texture to the texture manager of Minecraft, and after this, whatever we draw will go from this texture. We need to define two variables though, and for that I will prefer to have them on somewhere. Where to put that now? I will add them here. So private int x size and y size, and in the constructor I will say this dot x size equals to 176, and I will tell you where these numbers came from. X dot y size equals to 176. Where did these numbers come from? Well, Let's take a look at our texture in Photoshop. This is the top corner as 0, 0. And this is our bottom corner. Okay, so here, if I go into, wow, where is info now? View. Come on. Not you, but window, sorry, window. Where am I looking to? Info. Okay, so when I'm moving mouse, notice this X and Y in Photoshop. I like Photoshop because it gives me very good stuff. But hey, 4.66, what does that mean? Well, let's see. It's centimeters. I want pixels. Now you see that it's 175. But hey, we start from 0. Okay? So the easier way is to, if you don't have Photoshop, select it, all of it, with careful placement of your array. Control C, Control N, and it says that the width and height is 176. Okay, so we are telling Minecraft, hey, we want to draw something, and that something should be 160, 170, 60, 170, 60 in width and height. Okay, that's basically that part. So what do we want to draw? How we draw at all? Well, Minecraft has draw, texture, model, rect. Okay, it accepts, the parameters are not named, but it accepts the left, then the top. Okay, fortunately, Minecraft gives these to us. GUI left, GUI top. Then it says, okay, I need the origin of the texture inside this texture that we bound. Now it's 0, 0. Okay, so we go from 0 to 0 from X and Y up to X size and Y size. Is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. It will draw the texture from 0, 0 up to 175, 175. Okay. Now, will this work? Let's try it. Minecraft came up. We go into single word. We have our factory. Right clicking it. Hey, nothing is happening. Shift right clicking. Nothing is happening. Why? Well, let's take a look. Did we register the tile entity at all? No, we just defined it. So, there is no tile entity in game yet. Here, we need a Java class. We call it mod tile entity, like that. And let's change the namings to be plural again, all of them. So entities. There we go. To be keep consistency in your coding, because that's very important. Now, Here, of course, we want to have a public static void init. And in init, we want to game register dot register, this time tile entity. Okay. Unlike other registrations, here we need to give, as you can see, the class itself. So it's tefactory dot class, and we want to give it a name. And we don't have a name. I'm going into references, name, and well, we don't have a section. This is item, and here we say public class entities, and here we say public final, public static, I think. Was that? Yeah. Public static final string, and we call it factory underline t as tile entity equals to, and we want to name it something. What should we name it? A good name. Let me see my notes. Tile entity factory. That's enough. But we have another tile entity, if you recall, that we didn't register yet again. So we need to register it no matter what. Factory, this is J. This is generic and underline J. Okay? And this is TE generic J. So coming back, we need to now name it, and we define the name, so that's names, name dot from tile entities our factory tile entity, and we want to register our generic, so TE generic J block as generic J tile entity. Now we registered them inside this class, but we didn't call this init yet. So we go back to our main mod, and registering tile entities happen in the init. So before reading the proxy, we say mod tile entities dot init. Okay, and we will come to this guy later because we need to assign more stuff to that later, but for time being, let's try it. Still not working. Did we miss something? Well, let me take a look. Factory GUI. Our tile entity is being registered. Our container is being defined. We're calling that. Inside the factory block, we are saying to a open GUI. And we are creating a new tile entity. There is nothing really related to that in here. In the mod itself, it shouldn't be anything related. Let's double check. This is the proxy, that's the instance. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Oh. This is not important. In factory GUI itself, let me see. Um, let's go line by line comparison. And where am I defining these guys? Okay. Don't need to define them here. That's one thing. X size and Y size are internal variables. And of course I forgot something, but I will address that later. That shouldn't be relevant to this guy. Okay, the thing that I forgot is that we want a private T factory, and we call it factory for later because we need to address that in later. This.factory equals the factory we gave to the method. And by all means, it should load this texture. Did I had any typos? That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Textures, GUI, factory base, just to make sure. Okay. Why are you not working? Show your face. Factory base.png. We are binding the reference mod. No, it should, yeah, it should be the same. Yeah. Factory base GUI. Huh. Why are you not happy? Come on. What is the problem? What is the problem? Let's override this method, although I'm not sure it is related. And we say alt insert override method, and that is init GUI. Oh yeah, we need to call it, sorry. We need to initialize the GUI by calling it super. That was it. That shouldn't be because I'm just calling the super. Whew. No. Come on. Rotate the factory. No. Honestly, I don't know. Let's pause the video and come back and find why it's not working. I feel dumb because I had to find it in first seconds. We are not telling the servers or the clients to show the GUI. We're just calling it from one method, and that's from tile and the block itself, but we need a handler there. Yeah. So, God, my derpness, sorry. We need a package. Call it handlers. Okay. And let's call it init. Do refactor. Come on, do refactor, I said. Inventories. Do refactor. And we can say items. Do refactor. Proxies. Refactor. References. And now I need to change my yeah, tile entities. My build got Gradle, I mean that. And utilities, refactor, well, creative tab in single, client is single, blocks. And we'll add more and more packages later. But in handlers, we need a Java class, calling it GUI Handler. Well, this guy implements GUI Handler, GUI, not DUI, GUI Handler. And by that we implement two methods. This is what was the problem. We need to say, hey, if we are server side, do something. If we are in client side, do something else. Before that, I will say public GUI handler. Okay. And this is a constructor, of course. And in here we say network registry dot instance dot register GUI handler from jpiston dot instance, again the instance of mod, and we register this to the GUI handler. Now we say if we are on server side, of course we need to return null, but if you are on server side, switch based on ID. Okay, that's the GUI ID we assign to the GUI, and we say case GUI ID GUI ID. Come on, why are you not happy? Why are you not happy? GUI ID, come on, dot. Yeah, there we go. Factory based ID. If it's factory, do something, and we can add more IDs later, but what we want is tile entity. We get a tile entity that is tile entity equals, fortunately we got the word here, so we can say word dot get tile entity, and of course we got x, y, and z here, so x, y, and z. So we get the tile entity in the word. Now we check if tile entity is instance of TE factory, then we want to do stuff. Well, basically we just return new factory container that has player.inventory in it, and remember this is the constructor we made, so TE factory of tile entity. Okay, this is the constructor. Whoa, what did I do? Looking, finding it. This is the constructor we told it to have. Okay, so now we handle the server side. What about the client side? Well, it's basically very close to the same thing. Let's see. But instead of the container, we return factory GUI. Factory GUI. So what is this doing? This is saying, hey, if I'm in the server side, we don't have anything graphical on the server side, but we have the container. So, hey, we need to return the container. If we are on client side, then we want to deal with the GUI. Okay, are we finished yet? Not yet. We need to go into the mod, and after we initialized the entity, we registered our renderers. After everything, we say new GUI handler. Okay, so we initialize the GUI handler now. If we play it now, this should work now. And of course, we got our GUI. Okay, so if I shift click, you see that we should rotate the factory later on, but if I right click without sneaking, we open the base GUI. Hey, to that. Now how long this video did got me? Going into computer, videos, come out. So this guy is 13 minutes, this guy is 27 minutes. Wow, we passed already, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so this is our very, very, very basic GUI. In next episode, we will start drawing stuff on that GUI, okay? And we will start working with our container and speak more about what is a container. Have fun, everybody. Bye-bye.